I think because of like the pandemic and the slowness of production, we're kind of going back to like a weekly release or like, you know, here's a few now and a few later rather than like this never-ending constant content that we're always getting, you know? So because of that, we're doing this bit of a grab bag episode. And let's just, you know, we're going to tackle 6 shows right now that are coming in weekly. And some of us know a lot and some of us know a little, but we're going to, you know, just touch on some of these new television shows. So the first thing we're going to do is Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race, season 13. We got some new girls. Jono, you're joining us today. What are your thoughts of Drag Race this season?
I feel like there's a certain aspect of this season of Drag Race that immediately harkens back to like older seasons. I feel like once we have gotten over this hump of eliminations and how those worked in the first 4 episodes, so far it feels fun again. It feels good, which is wild considering they shot it during a pandemic and like they're all doing their best. But I seem to like the cast. It feels very strong, even though like it's Simone's Drag Race. Like it feels very strong overall.
This is one of the most, like, I think of like Bob and Bianca Del Rio. Like this is one of those seasons where you just know. You just know.
And I feel like last season they tried to set this up with like this Gigi edit. And like Gigi was getting that you just know edit very early on in the season and then sort of fell apart towards the middle. Like we'll see how it goes for Simone for the rest of the season, but coming in strong. She's won. Oh, no spoilers. Sorry.
Yes, right.
I'll back up. Right. I'm sorry.
But you're right. I do see there could be room for maybe another contestant who, you know, is also very popular or maybe not, maybe makes her way a bit into like that winner. We don't know. That is the funness of Drag Race, at least, you know. Yeah, I have to applaud them for the way they're tackling the pandemic. I think coming in with half the queens and then, you know, splitting them in half and really just kind of spacing people out just to make sure that nobody got it, that nobody came in and brought it. I mean, honestly, that's how I was watching it. I was like, cool, cute lip syncs. All I saw was, we're trying to not get anybody COVID so we can have a full season. Now let's get to the season, you know, and that's really how episode 3 kind of felt like to me, you know.
Well, it's always nice to see all of the girls get screen time, because in those older seasons of Drag Race, like before last year, before they did the split premiere, you had someone go home first and you barely get to spend any time with her because the edit's not going to be kind to her in the first episode.
Right.
So now you're like getting a chance to showcase yourself before someone gets sent home. And the person who got sent home, I don't feel like I know anything more about her than I did in the first episode, maybe. But like maybe that's the queen. I mean, I don't know.
Right. Daniel, how about you? What's your thoughts on this season? Do you have many thoughts? Are you caught up?
I'm happy that there is an Atlanta girl. I'm happy that that's a thing because from what I've seen, you know, there's a thriving scene here in the city and that's definitely not really tapped in as much as could be. I wish everyone well.
Yeah, I know. It's nice to see an Atlanta girl, and now there are, you know, 2 Atlanta girls, because I feel like there was definitely an absence of Atlanta girls for a very, very long time. Too long, if you ask me.
Too long.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun season. I guess we'll check in later about Drag Race. Definitely Simone is a favorite. I would say Candy Muse. I would say Got Mick. And I am kind of in this like Tina, Mick, Candy trio thing going. I'll admit I kind of like it.
Tina?
They're trios. They're little
Tina? No, ma'am. No, Olivia Lux all week, all day.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Miss Tina Burner, former member of NSYNC. No, ma'am.
You two just need to duke it out.
Moving on. Drag Race UK. Another season of the Drag Race UK. I honestly loved season 1. I just think anything British, I just like, yeah. Like, yeah. Ginny Lemon, Fancy a Slice, like...
Drag Race UK.
What are our thoughts on that?
It's not the same show.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what's so wonderful about it. It's just like, it's the same format, yeah, but what the queens bring individually, and even the energy that RuPaul brings on UK is like so very different than everything that we get here in the US, and it's just refreshing.
Well, I remember that back in the day, like a few years ago, you know, I don't know much about the show, but I do remember like watching videos and reading about UK drag queens not liking the fact that because of Drag Race, the scene is very American centric because it is so different. So I am very happy that they now have their own show that can focus on how they use drag and that is not, again, so American centric. And hopefully in the future we can just go to like every country and, you know, eventually just get Drag Race Tokyo.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'd love a Drag Race Tokyo. I am sad that the Thailand season series is kind of wrapped. But back to the UK, honestly, I love how it's very diverse this season. Finally, thank goodness. Last season was very one color, but I am very excited to see how some of these girls kind of hash this out. It's just been snappy, British, and fun. You can catch that on WoW Plus, and you can catch Drag Race Season 13 on VH1. They're separate. Do we have a favorite before we move on to our next show? Do we have any favorites on UK?
Taste. It's all tastes all day. Only taste. Trade of the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I have a soft spot for Ginny Lemon just because it's kind of like Bianca Del Rio. Like that's kind of the vibe that they have of her on. It's like this legend who definitely was like, I'm not coming on unless like I'm guaranteed either top 3 or winning kind of deal, you know? So I kind of feel that for Ginny Lemon. So that's been kind of cute. Daniel, do you have one or?
I'm sorry. I'm an uncultured swine.
It's okay. No, it's okay. I hope maybe this, you know, entices you to check out the UK season 2 of Drag Race.
Okay.
Our next show at our grab bag is the Apple TV Plus Dickinson. Jono's like, oh my, a period piece. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Couldn't be me. Catch me not watching a period piece. Couldn't be me.
Okay, but is this a period piece?
See, now that's where I'm going to that is what this show, I think, is what threw me off. For all of our listeners out there, you can't see this, but my background right now is a phenomenal view of Emily Dickinson herself from the show and a field of yellow flowers. This is like bisexual / just not even bisexual, lesbian icon beauty. It takes, you know what it is? It's like Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette.
Exactly.
It is a period piece, but it's not a period piece. Like they talk about house parties and they play like pop music, and I'm like, is this 2020 or is this?
I think you hit it right on the spot when you said it's like a Sofia Coppola film. It's like taking these figures and contextualizing them into a modern female's identity and like who she would be. You know, it's harkening to the past to explain the present. And in that, I think it does very well, especially for Miss Haley Steinfeld.
I know.
Because let's acknowledge, you know, she had like this big buzz when she was very young.
From True Grit.
Mm-hmm. She was like, I want to be a pop star. I want to be, and everyone was like, okay. But I feel like she's coming back. You know, I did not expect her to be that good. I was like, okay, all right.
It's that blend of like, she knows it looks like a period piece to everybody, especially, you know, but like, she's not acting like a girl in that time period, in my opinion.
Right.
She's acting like a girl like today, who happens to be back then, with the things that they're given with like no electricity and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I just think it really is obscure and weird in the right levels. And it really, I think girls who are growing up today with a lot of questions about their identity and sexuality and purpose can find a lot in this show. And for those who need a little backstory, Emily Dickinson is the famous poet. The first season kind of dives into just the introduction of her and her family and the fact that the love of her life, Sue, is about to marry Austin, her brother. So it's a very interesting dynamic where like your love interest is the wife of your brother. Super fun. Season 2, only 5 episodes are out. It's a 10-episode show, and you can catch them all now, those 5. And it's just more about her opening up as a poet and what it means to connect to your, you know, creativity. Yeah, Jono.
Isn't Jane Krakowski girlfriend of Mr. My Pillow in this show?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe I'll watch it for Jane Krakowski, but that is the only reason.
She plays her mom.
Okay.
He's saying that right now. He's like, yeah, I'm only going to watch it for her. And then, like, 2 days later, have you guys, like, we need to talk about this. Like,
well, see, you're telling me that it's, like, not period in the same way, but I look at, like, Bridgerton, where Shonda is, like, trying to lean into this, like,
no, Bridgerton is more period than this.
It's definitely more period than
Dickinson. Okay.
Yeah.
But it still
Dickinson,
plays on the pop music modernized
No,
nature,
see, because
period.
Bridgerton, they take pop music and turn it into string music to make it even more feel like a period piece. This, it's just like she'll be like outside about to go to the market, and she'll be like, all right, I'm going to the market. It's like doom 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 doom. And I'm like, what?
This is like very
it's just like breakdown,
pushing the confines of what can be period piece. I would call it more of like a historical fiction, than a straight up period piece.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But really quick on Jane, what I love about her in this show is that she kind of acts like she's not right for this role and that she's just desperate for a really good role. But then there are moments where I'm like, no, actually, I don't know anybody else who could have done this role.
No, I think she did great. Great.
I know. Okay, so that's Dickinson. Please give that a look on Apple TV Plus. Our next show, I'm not sure if all of us have seen it. It's La Veneno on HBO Max. Do we have a lot we can say about that show?
This is like top tier Spanish filmmaking. I feel like every culture has a certain like film language that is for them. And this isn't a show about Spanish people. This is a show by Spanish people. You can just feel it in the filmmaking. And I love it. I loved watching this show. It's just so intriguing to watch them. And like and just who they are. But my strongest draw again is the fact that you can feel the Spanish. It's like when you watched Roma. This isn't a movie about Spanish people. This is a Spanish film, and no, I'm here for it.
I think I was gagged when I first watched it. I think it was just so overwhelming to my senses that at first I even was like, I don't even know what I'm watching. I had to rewind that first episode a few times because it just looks so good. I can't even imagine how it's a 10 episode, mini series. Right. It's not going to continue because it's about the life of Cristina Ortiz Rodriguez, who's known as La Veneno, the very famous trans woman who was put on TV and everybody idolized. This show is phenomenal. I don't know any show that really just tackles transitioning and the main character, dealing with wanting to become the person she wants to be and to watch it happen. It's just that I think I'm crying every 5 seconds. Pose season 1, I said I was crying every 5 seconds. This toppled that by like 1,000. Jono, how about you? You didn't catch it yet.
It is on my list. I am working my way through another, a different streaming network show first, and then it's up there because it is the only thing Twitter is talking about.
You should watch.
I'm going to.
You should.
Yeah.
This one I will watch. Maybe not Miss Haley Steinfeld.
Oh,
but
my heart!
This one absolutely.
Come for the girls. Come for the girls.
No, but you know what? This is totally okay. Please, I know I love Dickinson, but I actually cannot stress enough how much La Veneno is like really, really a moment. And I will be gagged if this is not at least nominated for anything and everything it can get its hands on. I really wonder how it's going to get received, over here. I really wonder. I mean, already people are talking about it. Yes. I need more. So that's La Veneno. Our second to last show is Search Party, also on HBO Max.
Girl.
A lot of our queer friends are involved in this show.
Girl.
What are we thinking of this 4th season?
Search Party, I have never more so with a show been like, season by season, I like the show. I genuinely like season 1. I feel like season 2 was kind of a dull moment for where the story was at that point. And then season 3 we're kind of picking up. I don't exactly 100% know how I feel about season 4. Because there's moments where I'm feeling like, I'm enjoying it, and there's other moments where I'm like, it kind of ebbs and flows, and I think part of that is that the show is trying to mix this kind of character mystery thing with the more awkward millennial #adulting comedy, and like, it doesn't always blend it right. So I like the show, but I'm also kind of about the show. It's like, it's weird. There's certain moments where I'm here for it, I'm living it, and then there's other moments where I'm like, I don't know, you lost me. Like, you're over there playing Connect 4, I'm over here playing Monopoly. Like, it ebbs and flows for me, honestly.
Jono, how about you?
I watched season 1, and I have never been more uncomfortable watching anything else in my life. And since then, I have not been able to return to it. I am so scared. I am so anxious about it. I just like that sort of like Daniel saying, that sort of like awkward millennial adulting humor where they're like, let's make you feel as uncomfortable as possible. That's not for me. I do want to watch it because, again, it's like, it's a moment. It's a pop culture moment. It's something that everybody's talking about, especially like in the queer space. And I want to find the courage in myself to sit down and like grin and bear it and like grit my teeth and like get through it. That's just not today.
Do you want me to hold your hand while you watch?
Oh my God, please.
Search Party to me feels like the millennial Twin Peaks. Like, it's trying really hard to be something, and like her obsession of Chantel in season 1, and then it blending into season 2, but only for the beginning, because it's like it's just like Twin Peaks. Like, we're all obsessed about Laura Palmer, and then they try to find some new plot. And I think Search Party does it better than Twin Peaks, because I actually like season 2. I thought season 3 was really good too. I think 4 is just trying. It's like exactly how Daniel said. Their blend between this, the funny and satiric versus like the actual horror of what's going on, of like dead bodies or what have you, abductions, whatever. I just feel like by 4 they went like all the way there to want to just get super, just I guess, intense. And I'm not necessarily like in love with that version of Search Party. I want more of the comedy, which sounds opposite of what Jono wants from the show. So, yeah, it's a very interesting show.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense, though, because, again, it's like, for me, I find it interesting how Jono's like, no, be more straightforward, and you're like, no, give me the comedy, and for me, it kind of ebb and flows. I think that says something about the show itself, that it kind of is hitting on different things for different people, which I think is very interesting in of itself, but does that make it to where I can be like, hell yeah, Search Party? I'm not I have to sit on it. I'm not entirely sure yet. I feel like it's one of those shows where it's like, when it's all said and done, you go back and watch maybe like 4 or so years later, and you're like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But like, while you're airing, I can't exactly with you.
I also feel like around 3 and 4, which 4 is what's out now, they just got so hyped about production design, and everything became about this ridiculous production design, and I think they were just hoping that would just like really put the show over the edge. But I am interested to see how season 4 wraps up. It actually ends on Thursday the 28th, which is a day after this recording is happening, so we'll know very soon what happens to our good friend Dory and her posse. It definitely does tackle, I think, that gay, like Elliot. I do appreciate what's going on with Elliot. I will admit, at first I was like, I don't know, but then I was like, okay, yeah, that is a gay that I know very well.
I was gonna say, I go back and forth with Elliot, and then I found out that like those are actual people. Like there's actually people like that, and I'm like, not me, girl. Like, I don't know who y'all be hanging out with. Like,
yeah. So now we're going to dedicate this last episode, our last part of this little review on WandaVision, which I hope we all watched that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just get into WandaVision. I will say right out real quick, I think this is the best that they've made, Marvel. I'll be blunt. Like, Black Panther was a good time. But this, I feel like they're actually trying to like make something interesting.
Yeah, like, as someone who doesn't really engage with superhero stuff or really like it, I can say I honestly like this, which I was a little bit surprised by, because I went into it having like really mad because my ultimate crush of all crushes, Brian Tyree Henry, where is he? Where's my boo? I want to know where he is. No, WandaVision is really interesting, and I think it really, like, see, I think this is funny you bring up Black Panther, because I feel like this is good in that it actually is about something. Like, it's not just superheroes, you know, it's actually about something, and it features superheroes. And I think that's what is making WandaVision a lot stronger than, let's say, other Marvel properties that kind of are just like, we're going to add tiny themes, but it's still just about, like, attractive people talking and then punching. Whereas this feels like it's more so about a story featuring a hero.
They took the time to develop the story, which is why they're giving us little nuggets along the way. Like, they didn't blow their load in the first 20 minutes of the show. Like, we are now, 3 episodes in? The 4th episode comes out Friday. I don't know what's going on. No idea. But I'm living, and I can't wait to see, like, what comes next. Unlike a lot of other Marvel properties where you're like, I have a good idea of how this is going to end and where this is going to go. And I feel like this is going to turn everything on its head in terms of what we've always known about, like, the extended Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I also think it's just the perfect character because, unlike Iron Man or Thor, a lot of people already knew these superheroes going in, and Wanda isn't necessarily the name of this individual. And for a lot of people like me or other super nerds who actually know, I will admit, I definitely have a feeling I know what's going on. Will I say? Absolutely not. That's the fun of this show, is knowing absolutely nothing. But I can only guess. But she is definitely a character that I think a lot of people are going to go, oh, you know, once a lot is starting to, reveal itself. Vision, that is his name, flat out. So Vision exists as Vision in the Marvel universe. But yeah, I don't know, this blend of like Bewitched and the Brady Bunch in this beginning first few episodes have been really fun.
Also, Catherine Hahn, Han Hive Rise Up, we're eating good.
Yes.
Love Catherine Hahn.
Her reactions, especially in that like Brady Bunchy episode when they're in color, like that moment where she's like, gotta go. I was like, I can't. I'm done with you, Catherine.
And if there's any like deductive reasoning as to who Catherine Hahn is and like what role she probably plays in the story based on her featured billing, I think we're in for it.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be feasting.
I feel like anytime Catherine plays a role, she's just herself at this point. Like, you can't remove her from anything. You're just like, okay, you're Catherine Hahn. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Like,
yep. And I won't chime in on this because I don't want to, because I think I might know too much. But I'm curious. I don't mean this is not spoiling anything because I'm still, no one knows anything. What do you two think is going on? Like, what are your opinions of what's going on?
I am like you, and I'm a nerd, and I think I do know what's going on from like a comic book perspective. So I also don't want to comment. Okay. But again, my comment is that Catherine Hahn as a whole has featured billing. Yeah. So she's probably someone more important than what they are leading on.
Oh, hands down.
Because it's Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
But also,
she needed something. I Love Dick got canceled.
Emma Caulfield coming at us with from Buffy straight to WandaVision, and like living for her. Where has she been? And they put her with a bunny on screen in her first episode. It's everything. I love it.
I'm the opposite. I don't know nothing.
So then what do you think's going on?
Girl, I'm the opposite. I ain't trying to, like, I have to rewatch because I am like, I need a second viewing. Like, because it's like, I watched it, but at the same time, I don't feel like I watched it.
Yeah, I think my favorite parts of this show is like when they start to snap out and they're in more of their reality, and then they rewind and everything's back to okay, and you're like, what?
When it goes from that like traditional nostalgic sitcom vibe and like it suddenly goes cinematic, and they have these subtle camera changes between shots that like
I know
a person who's like not watching for that kind of thing won't get, but I get it. I scream every single time.
Yeah, no, I love it. The direction here, next level for any Marvel movie I've ever seen.
It is the best Marvel has done. That show Homecoming, I just want to point out, it really does kind of take from Homecoming that change of cinematic bars and like, you know, bars on the side, bars on top and bottom, no bars, you know, and it really does tell you where you are. And it's so amazing that we've been trained to actually like associate bars on screen to a time period. Super interesting. I just have to applaud and like mention Homecoming, because that's definitely the first time I ever saw this happen. And WandaVision is like taking it the next step further. So yeah, we're really excited for all these shows. You can catch WandaVision on Disney+. All of the shows we've mentioned today are easily accessible on many different platforms. Please check out all of these shows. I think we're all really just dying to see what's going to happen next, especially on WandaVision, I think. Well, thank you guys for joining me. This has been a fun grab bag. A lot of good shows out there right now.
So much to watch.
So much to watch. Thank you for joining me, and let's all say goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks again for listening, y'all. And be sure to follow us at WUSSY Movie Club on both Facebook and Instagram, and let us know what you are watching and looking forward to this new year, as well as stay up to date on our lineup of films and more mini episodes like this one. Until next time, bye, y'all.